Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick, and today we have set number 70841. This is Benny's Space Squad from the LEGO Movie 2. This set was officially released on December 26, 2018, which is the day this was recorded. I went to Barnes & Noble and got this. I had to get it out of the back for me, and you notice the box is not in the perfect shape, but I didn't want to ask them to go and get another one. It was nice enough that they actually went and grabbed me one from the back, and I'll probably end up buying another one of these at some point, because it is that good, but we'll get onto that later. 68 pieces, $9.99. Could use a couple more parts, but you know, I think the price per piece is reasonable on this. And let's take a closer look at all the builds built up. Here is everything you get in this set. You get the 4 Spaceman minifigures, obviously, but in addition to that, you get this cool little robot, which, you know, he's got arms and he can hold stuff. So, you know, there's that. They don't give you anything for him to hold specifically, but you could give him any of the accessories. Obviously, you can't hold a wrench vertically. You can't really use a walkie-talkie. You can't use the... So I guess maybe you could use the gun, and that's about it. But he's cool. I believe he is exactly the same as the robots that we get in Benny's spaceship. So very reminiscent of that, and, you know, good tribute to classic space. I think it, you know, works pretty well. This does use all, like, parts or variations of parts that were originally available. I mean, I think these are slightly updated to increase the clutch power, but you know, a design that was around back then. We also get this cool little spacecraft part or build, which, you know, very simple. It's got these wedge plates that have the notches you can actually attach stuff underneath them. Back in the day in classic space, they were one solid line. If you guys want to see a more in-depth review of this later, pointing out some of the parts that were not available or the slight variations of parts. I might be able to do that if you guys are interested, but you have to let me know in the comment section down below. This piece in the back, this R2-D2 head, except not R2-D2, but the other astromech head, is a new part, but I think it makes good use of it here. Works pretty well as a thruster, and it doesn't look out of place, really, even though it is a much more modern design than the majority of these. We do have this little antenna on the back, as well as a printed slope 1x4. I believe they use this in the other, the Juniors Benny set. I could be wrong though. It could be exclusive to here. But it's got good metallic printing on the gold. Looks good overall. And last little build is this little rover, which, you know, uses those wheels, which I believe were around back then. This accessory is for the yellow spaceman, and it is a metal detector. However, it is an updated version of the metal detector that does not have the stud on the bottom. I believe this was introduced in Fun at the Beach, but you know, it still captures the essence of the original one. Also, you'll notice it uses these new for 2018, I believe, 2x2 plates that are half plate, half tile. So, you know, those were definitely not around back then, but they make good use of it here. First off, it allows the figure to be attached here without getting stuck, which a lot of the older classic space stuff that I have, that is a problem since they're old. They tend to, you know, lose a little bit of clutch power between the torso and the legs, and you'll pull off the torso and the legs will stay. So, you know, if you were to put any old classic space figures on this, you'd have a much easier time getting them off. And he does have a steering wheel and little lights in the front. Overall, I think these builds are good, but let's take a look at the star of the show with the figures. First up, we have Benny, who's probably the reason this pack exists in the first place, because he was a very standout character in the first LEGO movie, and I believe the Benny spaceship set sold really well. And yeah, he's a really good figure. This is a new version, because he has a new face print. I don't know if this face print appears in other LEGO Movie 2 sets, because I don't have them, and I haven't seen detailed reviews of all of them yet. So, you know, it may appear in other sets. I haven't paid too close attention. But, regardless, it is a really cool face print. The torso is obviously the same as it was before, but this is new. This is similar to his previous face, but he does have an alternate expression on the back, which is a very different from many of the ones that we've seen before for Benny. And it looks good, I like it. He comes with a walkie-talkie as accessory, and I'm not going to remove the air tanks for all these figures because none of them in the set have back printing. Benny is also the only one with a second face, so he's, from this point forward, I'm not going to mention any of that. His helmet mold is the cracked one that is designed to look like a classic space figure, and yeah, he's a cool figure. Next up, we have the white and yellow spacemen, which obviously existed back in classic space like blue spacemen did, but these ones are specifically named Jenny and Kenny, and they are actually designed to be classic space figures. You'll notice that they did not use the standard motorcycle helmet that they've used for previous classic space tribute figures. They have created a brand new mold designed to emulate that of the classic spaceman. And there are slight differences in the molding here, but does a very good job of getting this point across. You'll notice this little bottom section of the classic spaceman. This is a real 1980s classic spaceman. And the bottom section kind of gets thicker than this one does. Or I guess maybe the rest of the helmet is just thinner. Yeah, I think the rest of the helmet's actually just thinner than the jaw bottom section. And also, if we look up at the very top, you'll notice there is a mold mark kind of circle at the top of the new one, whereas it's completely smooth on the old one with just a tiny mold mark from manufacturing itself, not designed in the part. So, you know, it is a slightly updated mold. However, it's very, very, very reminiscent of the original design, and I'm very happy with the way it turned out. I actually really much happier with these than I am with the previous classic space tribute figures. So, honestly, these are probably better than the originals. And just for a quick comparison of the white spaceman, it is pretty much identical again, except for the little bump on top, and the molding on the bottom jaw of the older one is thicker in comparison to the rest of the part than in the newer one. I believe there are multiple designs of classic spaceman helmets, but this is the one that I have most of, and pretty much all of my classic space figures, I believe, have that same exact molding design. So, you know, that is a slight difference from the new ones, but the new ones I think I like better, probably. Because they do look a little weird having that section get a lot thicker. I think that was done to prevent cracking like happened to poor Benny. And last but not least, we have Lenny the Pink Spaceman. And this is the big draw for this set to most people. It is a brand new color of classic spaceman. Back in the 1980s, they had white, they had yellow, they had red, they had black, they had blue. They did not have pink. And yeah, pink is probably one of the last colors I would have expected, but it is really, really cool to get here. He obviously has a brand new printing on the torso. The helmet and the jetpack are molded for the first time in this bright pink color here. It's a really, really, really cool design. And I realized that my spinner is off-center. Whoops. But yeah, it's a really, really cool design, and I'm a big fan of the way that this figure turned out. It's, yeah, really, really cool. Very big draw for the set to me. I don't know. This set has some great, you know, classic space tribute pieces, but I already obviously have, as you saw, a white and a yellow classic spaceman. I have Benny figures. This pink figure, though, really, really cool to get. So yeah, Benny Space Squad is definitely a win for classic space fans. You know, and space fans of all ages. I mean, this is a really, really cool, nostalgic feeling. Like, it really, really strongly emulates that classic space feel. And I think that's fantastic. I love the inclusion of the new figure. I love that they went above and beyond. Like, they easily could have just included those, like, stupid city helmets. And, you know, just called it a day. But I really, really, really love that they actually went out of the way and remolded that part with a slightly updated design, which I assume is not going to break. I'm assuming they took that into consideration. Yeah, all around, this is a fantastic set. Cannot recommend it enough, honestly. Yes, the builds are a little bit, you know, small and simple, but that's how Classic Space is supposed to be. Maybe if this was $8, it would have been slightly better. But honestly, reducing the price is the only thing I can think of that would have made the set better. I mean, I guess they could have included a fifth spaceman, or maybe made one of them a different color. But honestly, yellow legs with no printing at all have been out of print for a while, so even that piece alone is just really cool. And they've gotten very, very expensive on the aftermarket because they haven't been reproduced since Classic Space, I think. So, you know, those are a very, very desirable part as well. And, yeah, I mean, all of this, I guess the White Spaceman, as a result, is probably the least interesting, because he was also one of the more common ones back in the classic space theme. But many fans of Lego now were not around in the 80s, and then, they throw Benny in the Lego movie, and now everybody loves classic space. Yeah, this is a very solid set. I definitely was a must-buy immediately for me, and I think that shows Target and Shop at Home both went out of stock or back order really fast, like by 10 o'clock this morning. Barnes & Noble, the only reason they had them was because they hadn't put them on the shelves yet. So, hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, let me know what you think of Benny's Space Squad. Will you be picking it up? I know I probably will pick up a second at some point, probably when they hit $8 at Walmart, because Walmart puts everything 20% off. So, if you're on the fence now, once it gets $8, I don't see how you can pass it up. So, hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, let me know down below. See you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.